We're live with another episode of the Summer Sessions. Hope everyone had a beautiful weekend and is having a great Monday. I got a great show for you guys today. We're going to recap Cavs, Pistons, recap the NHL playoffs from this weekend. We now know who the New York Knicks are going to play. We've got Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals tonight, so we're going to go through some plays for that. And we've got Game 7 in the NHL, I believe Sabres-Habs tonight as well. Got some politics to talk about, Caitlin Clark, and all the rest. But let's get down to it. Now, you're probably wondering, Mike, why are there 4 lighthouses? Because I just didn't want an empty desk, okay? And if you're watching the YouTube video right now, there's 4 lighthouses. We got a brick one, we got a stone one, we got one that's painted white, and we got my favorite one, the striped one. They're just chess pieces, but I didn't want this desk to be empty, so that's why we have the 4 lighthouses, and they represent the 4 pillars of life. Happiness, gambling, beers, and friendship and family. That was off the dome. That's how dumb I am. All right, let's just start it off, dude. The Pistons got skull-fucked. And I feel like if you've been listening to the summer sessions, I've been saying that I don't think the Pistons are a good team. I think they're a great regular season team, but when it comes down to brass tacks in the playoffs, your second option cannot be Tobias Harris and Duncan Robinson. It can't. Asar Thompson can barely make a layup, let alone a jump shot. And Jalen Duren, he's literally that Shaq meme where it's like, Ernie, fuck it, we're getting fired. The Sonic rings of cash that Jalen Duren is losing by the play in the playoffs has been generational, dude. And I just never thought that the Pistons were going to win this series. Going to 7 in Detroit, the Cavaliers were just the better team, it felt like, every series, and every time that the Pistons did win a game, it just felt like the Cavs shot themselves in the foot. And Game 7, Donovan Mitchell comes out, has a phenomenal game. They blow out the Pistons, and now they feel good going into their next series against the New York Knicks. It also doesn't help that Cade Cunningham had the worst game of that series. However, Cade Cunningham, make no mistake, was definitely the best player on the floor the entire series. In terms of genuine raw talent, Cade Cunningham is going to be unstoppable for the next couple years. And that does scare me as a team in the East, but he is so undeniably good that if Detroit can just put some pieces around him that are actually good and aren't Tobias Harris and Duncan Robinson and Jalen Duren and Isaiah Stewart, he's going to be a serious problem. If they can just go get that second piece for him, like a really good small forward or a really dominant center, I could see Cade Cunningham and the Pistons being a contender. But with this current core, I don't think so. The Cavs, this is going to be quite the series. The Knicks, now we know who we're playing. And I wanted to play the Pistons because I think we could have beat the Pistons in 5 games. Knicks, Cavs, it's feeling like Knicks in 6. The way the Knicks swept the Sixers, it's very hard for me not to have confidence going into this game. But in terms of how we match up, I think the Cavaliers in the East match up the best with us. Because they can go big if they want with Mobley and Allen against Robinson and Cat, which is nice because that makes me think that we can go big, and I like when we go big because when Cat and Mitch are out there, we have like the best plus-minus of the entire season. And I do like that we got to give OG some extra rest. I saw he played in the scrimmage yesterday with all the Knicks guys, so I think it's Knicks in 6. I'm putting my foot down. We win both at home. We lose 2, then we win, and I just think that this Knicks team is so dialed in right now. The fact that Karl Anthony Towns was able to go into Mike Brown's office during the playoffs and go, Coach, I really think you should run the offense through me. I know Jalen's our guy. I know he's our captain, but I just feel like if I were to have the focal of the offense and be able to run it through me, not to take the most shots, but to have it run through me in terms of distribution and play calling, I really think we're going to be successful. And the fact that a team in the playoffs was able to make that change in Mike Brown's staff, and then also Jalen Brunson, who's just turning out to be the greatest star in the NBA, was able to go 100%. Let's try it out. And now we're having the most success we've had on offense for the last 3 years. And it just looks fluid, too. If you've watched the Knicks play, when Karl Anthony Towns is running it and he's not in foul trouble, our offense is unstoppable. When he's at the top of the key and everyone's cutting crazy and he's doing one of these looking, and by the way, he passes the ball like prime John Stockton. So, do I think they have an answer for Cat? I don't. Jared Allen is a great talent. You don't have an option and an answer for Karl Anthony Towns for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And honestly, you don't have an answer for Jalen Brunson, because the answer for Jalen Brunson is we're going to go at him all game. James Harden also can't guard. So if James Harden gets put on Jalen Brunson, that's literally barbecue chicken. Shannon Sharp looking at the Thanksgiving dinner going, yeah, we got the brisket here. We got the collard greens. We got the carrots. And it's like it's going to literally be a Thanksgiving feast for Jalen Brunson against this Cavs defense, because I don't think anyone matches up with him. And especially if Mikal Bridges keeps playing the way he's playing. I mean, I think it's the Knicks in 6. It's going to be a good series. And I'm just hoping that those teams in the West, in San Antonio and Oklahoma City, just cannibalize each other. I hope it's just full-blown cannibalization, 7 games. However, there's going to be a player that's just going to drive me up wall, and it's going to be Max Strus. I just know for a fact I'm going to turn this game on, and Max Strus is going to spawn with 4 threes. There's going to be a 40-point Max Strus game this series, and it's going to drive me up a wall. It's going to be like Aaron Nesmith against the Knicks last year. For no reason, he's just going to have an absolute torch every single game, and I just know it. The Strus magnet ball is going to drive me up a wall, and you know Dean Wade is going to shoot 80% this series. I still think it's Knicks in 6, but tell me that you're not going to be sitting there checking the box score going, Max Strus has 30 points and Dean Wade hasn't missed a 3. Like, I just know it, because players like that against the Knicks, for whatever reason, just turn into generational talents, and I can just already see it. Like, I'm already seeing Max Strus making me want to throw my phone through the TV. And Max Strus from the corner, and I'm just going to be sitting there going, oh my God, dude, please stop, please stop, please stop. So, I don't know. But Knicks in 6, I'm really excited for this series. I legitimately can't wait. But, I mean, you knew we had to do it, by the way. This next topic is just going to be something else. And I'm kind of excited to get into it, honestly. I know you guys saw it this weekend, but the reality is Caitlin Clark is the WNBA. She's the best player. She's setting the most records. And when she's playing at her best basketball, she is genuinely unguardable. And the fact that we're having conversations that we're having on social media about Caitlin Clark, calling her the Jeremy Lin phenomena, calling her overrated, saying that she has a turnover problem, it's all just bullshit. And right now this season, she's first in assists and she's second in points, by the way. In a year where Caitlin Clark hasn't taken a step forward and Caitlin Clark hasn't expanded her bag, she has not only gotten the WNBA players paid more than they ever should have been paid ever, or would have been paid ever. Not only has she gotten the WNBA players paid more than they would have ever been paid if she never played in the goddamn league, but she's leading the league in assists and she's leading the league in points in a year where Caitlin Clark hasn't taken that step forward, and Caitlin Clark isn't the most elite guard in the WNBA. Which, by the way, when you start looking at the stats, you go, wait, this might be the greatest of all time, and we're watching her live. Because she's also because she's also the player with the most 50-point and 20 assists over any 2-game span, and she's done it 5 times. 5 times in her career over 2 games has she had 50 points and 20 assists, and Diana Taurasi has only had it 1 time. Which, by the way, when we run the tapes back to when Diana Taurasi said, there's going to be a big adjustment. There's going to be a huge adjustment for Caitlin Clark. By the way, in the 3 seasons that Caitlin Clark has played in the WNBA, she's now in conversations that Diana Taurasi has never even sniffed. In 56 games played, Caitlin Clark has the most games with 20-plus points and 10 assists, and she's got 11 of them in 56 games. The next player that's close is Courtney Vandersloot, and she had to play 436 games. So when we start talking about Caitlin Clark, the reality of the situation is she is already up there with the top of the top in the WNBA. She might already be the greatest of all time. She might already be the greatest guard to ever step foot in the WNBA. And for whatever reason, the league doesn't want to market her. I don't know who runs social media over there at the WNBA, but the fact that they rotate players on graphics. I've never tuned into a Laker game because on Twitter I saw that goddamn Luke Kennard was on the graphic. And that's not shame to Luke Kennard. But by the way, everywhere I look, but by the way, everywhere I look, Angel Reese is on every graphic. And in her last game, she went 1 for 8 with 6 goddamn missed layups and 8 goddamn turnovers. 3 travels, 3 offensive fouls, 1 bad pass, and she stepped out of bounds. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is having generational games, pulling from the logo, sending games to overtime, and is just the best of the best. But for whatever reason, whenever she plays, she's got a turnover problem. She shouldn't be the face of the league. She's not even the best the league has to offer. And unfortunately, she's the league. She is the league. She should be the goddamn logo at this point. Talking about Jerry West being the NBA logo, the WNBA logo should be Caitlin fucking Clark pulling from the goddamn logo with a golf shot from the clubhouse. You know what I mean? But it's something else. And not only that, Caitlin Clark is also the first player ever in WNBA history to record multiple games of 30-plus points and 10-plus assists. And we're having debates on whether or not she's the most valuable player in the league and one of the best players in the league. She is the league, goddammit. I don't know how many times we have to go over it. But, it's just frustrating every time she plays. You got to check Twitter. And everyone wants to have a take, and everyone wants to be angry with her, and everyone wants to call her bad. And it's just unfortunate that we can't just sit back and watch greatness. We can't just sit back and watch the Michael Jordan of the WNBA. We can't just sit back and watch the Stephen Curry of the WNBA without it becoming a divisive issue. Why don't we all just come together and watch Caitlin Clark pull from the goddamn clubhouse and nothing but net? That's just my problem with it. And it's a big problem for me. I'm struggling with it that we can't get behind her as a league. Because, I'm sitting there with my 14-year-old nephew, and he's loving it. And by the way, while we're watching the game, he's like, dude, Kelsey Mitchell has a bag. And I was like, yeah, she's got a goddamn bag. And then, of course, he's watching, he goes, Lexi, hold on, am I right now? Like, that's enough, dude. You're only 14. Chill the frick out. But yes, and have you looked at Sophie Cunningham? But that's enough. That's enough. It's just, it's frustrating. As if I'm over here like I'm a part of the team or I'm on her team or she even knows who I am. Which actually, by the way, people forget. Shout out my boy Dave over there at Iowa. When she was a junior in college and I was just starting TMA at Book It, I got put in a group DM with Caitlin Clark because I wanted to interview her. But then she went on that generational run her junior year. But she did respond in the DM, so I do technically have DMs with Caitlin Clark where we tried to set up an interview, and she was like, yeah, let me just check my schedule in this group chat with this guy Dave. And then she went on a generational run, and she never responded. But people forget she's been in a group chat with Mikey over. So I love her, dude. I think she's like the greatest thing to ever happen to women's basketball, to the WNBA. And by the way, what a cool head, for all the stuff that gets talked about her. She's doing the walk-ins just wearing sweats, and she's like, yeah, I got to do stretching. You know what I mean? She never causes problems. She never says anything, which, by the way, if Caitlin Clark wanted to talk her shit, oh my God, the league would be over. If Caitlin Clark came at it with some Conor McGregor shit, and every time one of the girls in the league talked about her, she went, who the fuck is that girl? It would just, it'd be raps, badaps. I don't even know what that means, but it'd be raps. It'd be absolute raps. Speaking of raps, now that it's been a couple days have gone by, Iceman, Habibdi, and Maid of Honor might have been the most generational music drop of all time. And Drake said it best, man. The first thing people want to do when an album drops is go, this is garbage, this is trash, this is horrible. But the reality of life is you need music. And after a couple days, a couple weeks, you start listening to it more and more, and you get a decent gauge, and it's the greatest 3-drop album of all time. If he dropped Iceman by itself, I think we'd be having conversations of, is this a renaissance of Take Care? is this a renaissance of the take care era of the boy? Because I'll tell you what, I'm sitting outside, sun is shining, little bit of wind. Beep, beep, baby. Blow on me like some green tea, baby. The most generational songs, potentially, of all times. Go blow the dust off your blacks. Like, I'm just sitting there, and then you turn on Habibti. And he's singing like a goddamn angel. And then you cut on Iceman, he's rapping like the goddamn rent is due. And then you put on Maid of Honor, and you go, holy shit, it's a whole nother vibe. You know what I mean? It's just, I could die in your arms. And it's just, the disrespect is crazy, man. But you know what it is, though? It's a great lesson on just waiting your time. 2 years ago, Drake got absolutely buried. He got ambushed by everyone in the industry. Me talking as if I'm in the industry. He got absolutely boot-ganged by everyone in the rap industry. And he sat there for 2 years, and he just worked. He put his head down, and he grinded. He found out who was with him. Right? Found out who's in that circle that he can trust. And then he dropped 3 albums, and he just came for everybody's goddamn neck. And I'll tell you what. You're lying to yourself if you don't think it's good shit, man. We're looking down the barrel of a summer of Drake that's going to be the most generational summer of all time, man. Pushing out ink like a squid. Like, I just don't, like, my kink is signing checks. My pen is pushing out so much ink. I'm like a squid. I know that's not the bar, but the bar was so hard, dude. And you get a little sun hitting your face. You crack a little beverage. Beep, beep, baby. Buried alive. Someone come dig me up. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's the only thing I've been listening to, obviously. The song Fort Worth just sent me to the nether realms of my psyche. But, no, I mean, the Drake shit is just generational, man. It's just generational. And so is the Sabres comeback against the Habs. The Habs were leading at one point, and I turned off the game to watch Hail Mary with Ryan Gosling and Rocky, with the little rock, the alien movie, which, by the way, if you haven't seen it, I would suggest go watching it, but make sure you have nothing to do for about 3 hours, because I didn't realize I was signing up for a goddamn slow boat to China. It's a great movie, but it's so long. And in this era where I gotta check my phone because I'm incapable of just doing one thing at all times, I was checking my phone at a generational rate. But I can multitask and watch and check the phone. And as Mackenzie Brooks says, which I think is so funny, little screen, big screen time. I was having little screen, big screen time with that movie. But it was a great movie. Genuinely like an awesome movie. Ryan Gosling is just emerging as like a really funny comedic actor as well. So it was a little bit of drama, a little bit of comedy. And I was sitting there laughing, going, when can I go back to listening to Drake? But it was a great movie, but it was long. And speaking of, I watched Mary Poppins with my mom the other night, because now we're starting to come down the Jersey Shore, so all the family's around, and the Jersey Shore Summers are something else. And I did that whole Mary Poppins bit for when the Knicks swept the Sixers, and I wanted to watch the movie. That movie is almost 3 hours fucking long. I almost got a full, sleep in midway through the movie. It was so long. And then at one point, my mom and I were just like, dude, I can't watch this shit anymore. Like this. It's way too long. It's good, but it's just way too long. They do a dance singing number for 10 minutes. It's like, dude, I'm not at a goddamn theater. You know what I mean? Like, it just, let's get to the, I want to see Mary Poppins floating and shit. I don't need to see the chimney sweeps hit me with a 12-hour rendition of Step in Time. You know what I mean? And by the way, I think you realize when you watch that movie, Mr. Banks is really the main character. Like, she's there to change Mr. Banks, not the kids. And when I was little, I think in 3rd grade, 4th grade, we did a Mary Poppins play, and guess who got the role of Mr. Banks? It was me. Spoiler alert. It was me. You're probably wondering there's a little Band-Aid on my ear. Yeah, I sliced my ear trying to cut my own hair, because make no mistake, if I'm just left alone to my vices and I'm standing upstairs, not vices, if I'm left alone to myself and I'm fresh out of the shower and I'm looking in the mirror and I'm shaving my face so the mustache can stay, and my hair is definitely uneven over here and over here, and it was coming over my ear. My hair was hanging over my ear, and I just went, you know what, I can probably just like trim a little bit of it, flipped my razor on and went like this with the backside of the razor, sliced some of my ear off. So, you know, at the end of the day, if you're listening to this, you just got to know I'm just an idiot. Like, at the end of the day, I'm just an idiot. I'm just an idiot. And so are the Chicago Cubs, because my buddies from Chicago are a big White Sox fan, and I'm becoming a Cubs fan just because I've never had a baseball team. Went to Wrigleyville one time. It was the most fun I've had in a weekend with Josh and Lauren, and the fact that we're losing to the White Sox is, you know, it doesn't do me any favors in the group chat. You know, when PCA goes 0 for 4 and Murakami's out here hitting goddamn nuclear piss missiles into my face, it's not fun for me as a Chicago Cubs super fan. As a Chicago Cubs super fan, it's not fun for me to lose to the Southside team. Because the White Sox, when they're bad, it's funny, but when they're good, it's like sick because they're the South Side. And I don't know, the South Side just always sounds cool no matter what. Like, I'm from the South Side in my town in New Jersey, and it's not cool. Like, the South Side isn't like a bad area. It's not like a cool area. It's just like the southern side of where, and I would always be like, yeah, I'm from the South Side. So, but then you put it in Chicago, and you go, you got the South Side Samurai and the South Side Boy, and it's like, damn. You know? Damn. Don't worry, we're going to get to the plays very quickly, but let's talk about what's going on in the world. China and Trump agree to some trade terms, which means hopefully the markets are bouncing back on this Monday. Hopefully your money is going to work for you, and hopefully you're invested in the markets, guys. It's really important to be investing your money in the markets. If your market is a sports book and your name is Mikey and you already have over $500 deployed. Because when you wake up, the first thing you do is hit the book. So, you know, that's just me, though. I'm putting my money to work, though, you know? If I'm going to work, my money is going to work. But yeah, it's crazy that, like, we look at China as, like, our biggest rival, which they are, for sure. Their economy is growing just as quickly as ours, almost quicker now at this point. And that the last person to visit China was 10 years ago, and it was Donald Trump. Like, we should be wanting to keep our enemies closer, you know what I mean? Like, keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer. Not that I'm calling China an enemy, but in terms of how, you know, the news perceives them, they're like our rival and they're always doing some sneaky shit. But this should be like a norm. Like, visiting China and just having conversations should be a norm. I feel like a lot of things in life are solved through conversation and not through distance. You know what I mean? Because I'll tell you what, that brawl in that Chipotle in Washington, D.C. wouldn't have happened if they just used their words. If the gentleman that decided to do full-blown battle in a Chipotle just used their words, we're not looking at a full-blown brawl. You know what I mean? And I think that goes for everything. Go down the bars at the Jersey Shore. There's always a couple white boys that just want to go, hey, man, watch where you're going. And you go, you know, this is what you came out for? You got 3 beers in you, and now you think you're Conor fucking McGregor? You think you're Dustin Poirier in the bar wearing your backwards? You know what I mean? Like, it's just... And the fellas at the Chipotle, maybe let's not fight in the Chipotle. I saw one of them pick up the chair. Those chairs are just stark aluminum, and that's going to hurt. And I just feel like the Chipotle should be off limits. You know, let's fight in the Qdobas. If you're going to fight in an establishment, it should be a Qdoba. Because I feel like Qdoba, the lights are always a little dimmer. It always feels like you shouldn't be in there when you go in there. Like, all the workers are like, wow, why the hell are you in the Qdoba? You know what I mean? Like, that's a good fighting ground. The Chipotle, the lights are bright. They're trying to be way nicer than they really are. And, you know, just, there's no reason to do full-blown battle in a Chipotle. Let's do the battling in a Qdoba. You know, let's find the nearest Qdoba, and let's turn that into an octagon. Whereas the Chipotle, you know, let's leave that. Let's leave the Chipotle for the middle-aged moms to go in there and go, I'm being healthy today, and I'm just going to get my pinto beans and my chicken and a little bit of brown rice. Let's just leave that for them. And let's take the Qdobas as a battling ring, as battle bots. You know? Pacific Rim Qdoba, Chipotle, I'm just going to be healthy today, and I'm just going to do half chicken, a little bit of brown rice, and some pico. Let's just leave that for the Chipotle Qdoba BattleBots. Let's BattleBots Qdoba and leave that for the middle-aged Chipotle, which, by the way, I don't know if you guys saw, speaking of middle-aged, two middle-aged men were flying Navy Growler planes in an air show and crashed into each other. Do we need to be going to air shows anymore as a society in 2026? Actually, no, we do. The part of my brain that would go, holy shit, look at the planes go, that loves flyovers at the NFL, would probably be sitting in a flyover being like, holy shit, look at those growlers going crazy. So, in hindsight, let's just stop crashing into each other, shall we? Let's be good people and stop crashing into each other at the flight shows because there was a little boy that went, oh my God! And his dad had to go, they're okay! Not knowing if they're okay, which, by the way, everyone's okay, but the dad was like, it's okay, they're okay. They're okay, they're fooling around, they made a mistake. You know what I mean? Fly better for the kids is what it is. Fly better for the kids. Fly better for the kids, man. Speaking of the kids, the creator and director of Euphoria needs to be put behind bars because it's just getting out of hand. The clips I'm seeing from the newest season of Euphoria are honestly unfathomable. It's just porn. They're just doing porn now. It's genuinely porn with a little bit of dialogue. And it's getting so unbelievably out of control. What Sydney Sweeney is doing this season, does her and her agent know she can just say no? Does the word no exist in the vocabulary of the Euphoria actors? Because I feel like there can be a time where you get around and you crack open the script and you go, I'm not going to dress like a dog in a doghouse in a thong. I'm not going to do that. Like, is there a world in which that word no exists on the set of Euphoria? Is there a world where maybe the creators go, you know what? Actually, we don't need to have a full-blown sex scene every 5 minutes. Is that okay? Do you think we can not do that? Is there a world where we can focus on the actual plot of Zendaya being like addicted to drugs and then going to drug dealers and trying to turn her life around and how crazy that life is, and not so much focused on let's make OnlyFans models out of everyone in the show and put feet in mouths? Like, is that an option? And is the FBI watching? Because the director and creator should be behind bars. Because now it's gone too far and it's too much. It's too much. We got the ASMR mic thing, which was, all I saw was the clip and visibly uncomfortable. I was visibly, the word no exists, right? Like that has to, like when you get a script, you can go, oh, no. I'm not going to get fully naked for the 9th time in 2 episodes. Like, does that exist? Because it feels like when they're writing and directing and creating, if there's a lull, they go, let's make someone fully naked. And at some point, this is TV. I don't know. But maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. Maybe we don't need to have an overdose every 3 seconds and we don't need this guy to be fully nude. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Am I wrong? I feel like the authorities should get involved because this guy is a sick fuck and his brain is fucked up. Let's just keep it a buck. His brain is scrambled. And I feel like he's a sick bastard. And if you were to have a conversation with him, you go, this guy's really weird and probably shouldn't be directing all these actors. But whatever it be, just something I saw. And I went, wow. Every time I see a clip, I go, wow. It's never like, oh, wow, I want to watch that. I go, wow. Wow. And it's not even like an interested wow. It's literally like a wow. Yo. Man, that just altered the course of my day, But whatever it is, can't do anything about it. Let's just get to today's picks. You know what I mean? Euphoria's not going anywhere. I don't know why I'm battling Euphoria. Not that I'm battling Euphoria, but it's like, dude, at some point that guy's got to go to jail, right? At some point he's got to go to jail. I don't remember his name, but at some point he's got to go to jail. I'm just saying, I'm not trying to be rude. At some point he's got to go to jail. We've got the Spurs taking on the Thunder tonight, 8:40 p.m. Eastern. 6.5 point spread, 219.5 over under. I saw SGA got all of his teammates these trench coats and then watches, and no one has made out better than Jared McCain. He went from getting traded from a team that ended up getting swept in embarrassing fashion to getting thousands of dollars of merchandise from the MVP and SGA. In which, you see those videos and you go, I know we give Shea a really hard time for being a foul baiter and not playing ethical hoops, but he's definitely a really nice guy. And you know what I mean? I see why they ride for him so hard, because he's definitely a really good guy. But what do you do in this game? I'll tell you what I really, really like, starting with props first, because I think I like to do the props first and then go from there. I think the Spurs are very alive in this series. I don't know. I love Victor over 24.5 points game one, because I think in game one is where you're feeling everything out and you're really relying heavily on your stars. I don't know if I love Stephen Castle over 16.5 in game one. It scares me that De'Aaron Fox is at 15.5. Wemby at 24.5. Him and Chet hate each other, and I think this is a series where Victor wants to establish how much better he is than Chet Holmgren, and he's going, Defensive Player of the Year, huh? Defensive Player of the Year. Hey, get that out of here. So I like Victor over 24.5 points in game one. I'm definitely not touching either of the Jalen Williamses. I think you can only bet on one, but I'm not touching either, no matter what's going on. I don't hate Julian Champagnie over 9.5 points in game one, just to be honest with you. Or a potential Keldon Johnson over 8.5 off the bench. This feels like sixth man of the year. Game one could get away from the Spurs a little bit, because the Thunder, make no mistake, are a really, really, really good team. And it seems like Keldon Johnson comes off the bench, bangs a couple. So I love Julian Champagnie. I love Victor. I wouldn't mind a sprinkle on Keldon on the Spurs. For the Thunder, I don't know how you don't stick with A.J. Mitchell as he's getting hot. 12.5. I don't hate that at all. SGA 30+ normally scares me just because that's a lot of points, but I know he's really that good. I mean, he's the MVP. But I wouldn't be shocked, to be honest with you. This is my weird angle of the night. Shai Gilgeous 2+ threes at +102. Victor defends the paint very well. And if you're SGA, you're going to have to score from unique spots on the floor, and getting your three ball going is going to have to be paramount for him. Like, that's going to have to be a focus in this series, because you're not going to beat Victor going to the paint every single time or with middies, because his arms are literally the size of fucking dock poles. So SGA is going to have to get the three going early and often. I like the Spurs +6.5 game one. I'm going to take the 6.5 game one. I'm going to take it. I'm going to take the Spurs +6.5 game one, and I'm just going to see how the series goes. How do I not take the Sabres at home, dude, on the money line? How do I not take the Sabres at home on the money line to advance? That 8-3 win just tells me we're coming home. That's going to be one of the loudest arenas in all of sports, maybe ever recorded. The citizens of Buffalo are going to drink so much beer that the currently cratering alcohol sales going on in America are going to rise by 5%. Just because the city of Buffalo is in an elimination game. And it's going to be so goddamn ruckus, I can't even stress. And I'm so stoked for this game. I'm taking the Sabres. You can't convince me to take the Canadians. I don't even care. You can't convince me. You can't. And I won't let you. Also in PLL news, I got to dial in, man. That was an embarrassing 1-for-3 this weekend. The Atlas just absolutely crapped down their shorts, and the Water Dogs got actually skull-fucked. So I need to dial in, and I'm going to be better next weekend, and I promise we will be better next weekend. But, man, that was a tough showing for the kid. Also, Darlene Point for the Sabres. We've been riding it all series. He had another one in that game, obviously 8 goals. But let's go to the Diamond. And, just so you guys know, for baseball betting, there's going to be days where we go 6-0, 0-6. That's just baseball, and it doesn't matter. It just depends on what button you click. It does not matter the research you do in baseball, at least for me. No matter how much research I do, you can click a button, the opposite will happen. The next day, click the same button, and what you thought was going to happen game one happens in game two. So, After getting banged out by the Cubs twice, I'm taking the Cubs. After getting banged out by the White Sox twice, I'm taking the Cubs -1.5 plus 118 with Schode on the bump against the Brewers. Bounce the fuck back, dude. PCA 2+ HRR. You have to bounce back, brother. You have to. I don't hate the Royals in a bounce back spot at home against Sonny Gray on the Red Sox. The Red Sox are just moose, goose, badooce. I'm not touching the A's against the Angels again. Did that, what a mistake. Anytime the Dodgers are -156 and below, I'm taking them. So Dodgers money lines against the Padres. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't care who's pitching. I don't care what's happening. I don't care if the world is ending or if there's snow in fucking Los Angeles. If the Dodgers are -154, I'm taking the Dodgers. You can call me an idiot. They're the best team in baseball by a country mile. So I like those. I like the Dodgers. I like the Royals. And I like the Cubs -1.5 for a bounce back. But, take it lightly. Don't go crazy on it. Don't go silly style, okay? Whatever you do, don't bust down Tatiana silly style on it. Let's go to the association for a second. The Wings are -4.5. You know what I have been liking because I feel like they haven't really dialed in on her yet? Paige Bucher's 20+ points. The Mystics are junk. The Mystics are Jansen junk. So I'm absolutely taking Paige 20+. Maybe Paige 20+ parlayed with Victor 20+. I know it's going to be a little juicy. That might be the lay of the day. I'm going to try to do a lay of the day every day that we do the show to keep people coming back. Hopefully you guys are enjoying. Please leave in the comments what you want me to talk about more. If you want me to talk about more sports stuff. If you want me to do a little better job of talking about your favorite teams. Just leave in the comments what you guys want me to talk about. Victor and Paige 20+ parlayed is +127. I don't hate that. Both to get 20+, maybe a little half unit for a parlay. I really, really, really don't hate that, to be honest. Wow, that was gross. I'm snotty, dude. The allergies are banging me out. Don't judge me, okay, you bastards. All right, let's end the episode with a little bit of Mikey core. Where to go for some Mikey core? I feel like I try to be very open with what's going on with my life and things that I'm working on and the things that I'm going through. And I just feel like sometimes in life, things get really difficult. And I think it's okay for things to be difficult. I think part of the beauty of the human experience is that things are going to be difficult. There's never going to be a perfect week. There's never going to be a perfect day. There's only going to be moments within the struggle that feel really great. And life isn't always going to be a struggle. I promise if you're going through something right now, life is not always going to be a struggle. There's going to be years where you're flying. There's going to be days where you're on top of the world. There's going to be weeks where you're feeling great. But the joy of the human experience is that we feel a range of emotions. And there's going to be, hopefully not years, but there's going to be days or weeks where you're just not feeling 100% and you feel like you're pressing against something. And I think it's okay to know that doing your best looks different every day. Sometimes doing your best is just getting out of bed in the morning. And that's been me lately. I've been trying to work really hard on this show. And I've been trying to just keep working, and I think doing my best lately has just been getting up and just attempting. Sometimes doing your best is you're flying. You're out of bed, you're working out, you're doing great, everything's going great in your personal life, professional life. And sometimes doing your best is just getting out of bed and just getting through one more day. And I think that's okay. So if you're in that sphere or you're in that sphere right now where you're just trying to get through the days, that's okay, but just make sure that you're doing it. And understand that you're going to get through it. I saw a quote, and it says, "The man who never fell has no glory. That man that fell and rose again is where his glory resides." And it's an old quote, but I think it still rings true today, that the person that doesn't go through any struggles or doesn't have any perseverance or doesn't battle sometimes, there's no fun in that. There's no joy in that. There's no strength in that. But the person that wakes up every morning and battles through something and gets through something and is kind to the people around them and spreads love to the people around them, that's the person that's strong. That's the person that truly, truly, truly is a great person. And I think just try to do your best. Some things aren't going to be everything you want them to be. And sometimes you're just going to have to get up and try. And I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for listening. Hopefully you're enjoying the summer sessions. I know I am. But I truly do love you guys the most. Let's go Knicks. I can't wait for game 1 tomorrow. I'm literally making a video today about like a message to the Cleveland Cavaliers. So please look out for that. But I love you guys so much. If you're going through something, please go get help. I promise therapy has been so good for me. It's been so awesome. And I love you guys so much and have a great start of your week. And hopefully this episode made you laugh a little bit. I love you guys.